are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports War. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
We are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Port. And once again, it is the Tony and Barnes Show. Anthony, how the hell are you?
Oh, I'm doing phenomenal, Brian. It's a lovely Monday. A little overcast here in Bridgeport, but nonetheless, nice and cool, which is a nice change of pace.
Yeah. And I can only imagine how well you're exactly feeling the weekend coming to a close with the Mets on a 6-game winning streak. I believe that ties the season high.
It does tie the season. Wow, look at you, Brian.
Yep. I
Doing
know
your due diligence, good for you.
But we know there's so much to talk about, so let's get right to it. The world of Major League Baseball.
2-2, he got him swinging. The back-to-back strikeouts for Robbie Ray.
There's damage right there. Shohei, way, Cy-Yo, nada, where did that land? Smoke to Chapman, who leaps up and grabs it.
Story spins and fires. Out at first.
There it goes. See ya. Home run, Aaron Judge.
All right, Tony. So the weekend that was for the New York Yankees, and we know, they had that 4-game home series with the Kansas City Royals, and Thursday, all the excitement of the Aaron Judge walk-off. It was on to Friday, and they did get an 11-5 victory over the Kansas City Royals. And kind of breaking it down step by step, you look at the scoring. They jump on the board early, courtesy of a first-inning Anthony Rizzo home run. And it is just amazing how well Rizzo hits at Yankee Stadium. It's like he's a completely different player there versus any other park.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy. I mean, we saw him. He hit the walk-off, right? The game he went to in Tampa. I mean, I feel like he just has so much more confidence and at the plate in Yankee Stadium. And I guess, maybe it's the fans, maybe it's just the way the park is kind of built in terms of, being kind of, I guess, built for home runs sort of deal. But his I would like to see his numbers just at home.
Oh
honestly.
My God. Yeah. We'll pull up the splits in a second. And the impressive thing about this home run, 422, which a lot of his home runs, I bet you think the Ports, cheapies, obviously something going 422, nothing cheap about that one. So that started the scoring off. We're on to the third inning, and Aaron Judge hit a 2-run home run, his 40th of the season. So, a big home run for him once again. And then, unfortunately, Garrett Cole had pitched well through the first 4 innings, runs into some trouble here in the 5th inning. He allowed 2 runs on a Whit Merrifield single, and then Salvador Perez, who had quite the series against the Yankees, does hit a 3-run homer to give the Royals a 5-3 lead, which they carried into the 8th inning, where the Yankees just completely blew it open, scoring 8 runs in the 8th. And they got these on a Benintendi infield single, an Aaron Hicks walk, an IKF single, a Trevino RBI ground out, and then to top it off, who else but Aaron Judge with a grand slam to make the score 11-5. And it stayed right there as Wandy Peralta, which he's given everyone a heart attack lately when he's been on the mound, did pitch a scoreless 9th inning, striking out 3. And Albert Abreu picks up the win here, his second win of the year, and he's been tremendous since coming back to the Yankees. So Matt Blake working his magic once again. So that was Friday. We were on to Saturday, and obviously, you felt pretty good, winning those first 2 games of the series. And Saturday, you just wanted to keep the ball rolling. Obviously, a win would, clinch the series, taking the first 3 games. And of course, they do that, winning 8-2. And this was really just a solid all-around performance by the Yankees. You look at, their starting pitcher, Nestor Cortez, high pitch count, ran into some trouble early, but did give them 5 innings, picking up his 9th win, 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, 90 pitches. So they didn't kind of run him too much as far as the pitch count was concerned. And if you look at, offensively here, we had a DJ LeMahieu home run to lead off the game. Gleyber Torres doubling, scoring Aaron Judge. So it was 2-0 after one. Judge with his 42nd home run of the season in the second inning to make it 4-0. The Royals answered back against Nestor in the third and the fourth inning, courtesy of a Sal Perez sacrifice fly, a Garcia RBI single. But the Yankees answered back in the fourth with a LeMahieu single and a Benintendi sacrifice fly to make it 6-2. The Royals threw the ball around the sixth to give the Yankees another run to make it 7-2. And Matt Carpenter joined the party with his 15th home run of the season in the seventh inning. And that was the end of the scoring for the rest of the game on both sides here. And you look at it, other than Nestor, Aroldis Chapman, he's been 9 up, 9 down his last 3 innings. He struck out 2 in this one. So obviously that's a positive sign. You really want to lengthen this bullpen with all the hits that it's taken recently. And then Clark Schmidt, a guy that I've been a big proponent of. You really like him out of the bullpen. He gave him 3 scoreless innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, picking up his second save of the year. I feel like you must be starting to get a little impressed with Clark Schmidt. I know you've been concerned about his, durability,
right,
in the past.
No, yeah, I am. And real quick, couple comments.
Yeah,
we have from Downtime TV. Go watch the Barnes takeover. Absolute gold yesterday. Tough loss, but Barnes is epic in it. And we have Michael C. Theophil also chiming in, agreeing with Downtime TV. Totally agree. Best takeover, best sports show! Exclamation points everywhere.
The super fan that is Michael C. Theophil.
No one better than him.
No one better than him. We always appreciate hearing from him and encourage him to keep commenting,
liking, subscribing
on these topics. Yeah. And of course, as he alluded to, Sunday, the series finale. And of course, I was in attendance and, it was a great day, unfortunately, other than the final result. And we'll fill you in how we got there. And first of all, I'd like to say, and I'm positive, because you haven't been there that much. You haven't had this experience, but me and my friend Mark, who I mention all the time, you met on Friday, dockside, so we go to the game. We did go standing room seats. So that's nice. Batter's eye, center field. Really can't get a better view. I mean, I know a lot of people are opposed to standing up for a whole game.
Oh, yeah.
I prefer it better than because some of those upper deck seats, those are narrow. It's uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
I think for the view, the value, have a free beer. I mean, dude, not bad for $20.
No, not bad at all. And you can get up, move around.
Exactly.
Like you're not. You feel good.
And they have several, designated standing, areas. And it was a packed house. I just want to see if they have the attendance in here. Oh, that's probably the MLB app. But I mean, it had to have been at least 40,000 people there. Very packed, and there was some collectible ring giveaway. Only the first 18,000, so I didn't get it. I'm not a big, I'm not a big memorabilia guy.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know why, dude.
I don't know. I think it's like love jerseys, love hats, love apparel, but I just don't need bobbleheads, rings.
Oh, I love the bobbleheads, dude. I think Mets are doing a Ron Darling bobblehead. I think August 12th. Oh, dude.
I just actually saw something. Ron Darling was eating in Westport, actually, and Dog was there at the same time. Gabriel's of Westport.
Never heard of it.
Used to be in Greenwich. It's like a steakhouse kind of, higher
fancy.
end.
Yeah.
Right. But I don't know. That came up on my Facebook newsfeed. So I thought that was interesting. I didn't know Ronnie, liked to eat out in Connecticut.
I know. Neither did
I. So back to the game here. And, when you look at it, I mean, there wasn't really any scoring through the first 4 innings. So Montgomery, keeping the Yankees, in the game like he usually does. But it just kind of fell apart in the 5th inning. Prado singled to score 2 runs. You had an RBI double from Garcia. Whit Merrifield grounds out, scoring another run to make it 4-0. But fortunately for the Yankees, I was surprised at this. I think there was 2 outs. I want to say it was either 1 or 2 outs, but Higashioka singled in a run, scoring Matt Carpenter, who had his first of 2 doubles yesterday. And then DJ LeMahieu homers to right field, and he's really, really been heating up. And I know I've mentioned it before, but with the power even too, that's not something we saw the last year and a half. But if I just take a look here, average up to 285, 11 home runs, 42 RBIs. And, from the leadoff spot, you don't have as many RBI opportunities, but he's really been impressive because it was very hard to say after, because you felt, okay, last year, the groin injury, not healthy, but then first 2 months of the season, he was a 250 hitter with no power and just not looking right. And for whatever reason, the past few months, something's really clicked with him. And it just seems like he has multi-hit game after multi-hit game.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I feel like even when he was when you saw him against the Mets, I mean, I feel like, he had a lot of power behind his bat. And although, some balls didn't go out because, Mets obviously is a little different stadium, but when he made the contact, I mean, he just absolutely just would hammer the ball. And you love to see that from him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huge addition.
Obviously welcomed. So that made it 4-3. Montgomery only went 4. Then they had to go to the bullpen. But you did get Abreu for a scoreless inning in 2/3. Wandy coming in to get an out. And Loaizaga having a scoreless inning. So it's nice. Loaizaga, has looked pretty solid, since he returned from the IL for the most part. And then in the bottom of the 7th, Anthony Rizzo, who else, with a homer to right field, 3-run shot to give the Yankees a 6-4 lead. So you're thinking, wow, we got 2 innings to hold a 6-4 lead. We're going to go to Marinaccio. We're going to go to Clay Holmes, and we are going to sweep the Kansas City Royals and have a 4-game winning streak going into tomorrow's game with Seattle. But of course, not so fast. We did have a Dozier home run in the 8th off Marinaccio, and we've talked about how lights out he's been, but he just didn't have it yesterday, giving up that home run to make it 6-5. But hey, I mean, 6-5, 1-run lead going into the top of the 9th. You felt like, all right, Clay Holmes, he can hold the Royals down here. We're going to be just all right. And I did, allude to the fact that Sal Perez, had a, good series here. And unfortunately, for Clay Holmes, a hit and a walk do him in. There's 1 out. He had recorded 1 out via ground out. And then unfortunately to deep center, Sal Perez, a line drive. And, I was standing in center, so I saw it kind of like a bird's eye view. This thing was just a complete dart. You know what I mean? There wasn't much height into it, but a complete rocket. I would love to see what the exit velocity was on that. So that made it 8-6. And I just, me, Mark, all the rest of the fans here just stood there in such shock. And really kind of, gave me some level of anxiety here because Clay Holmes, I want to say over the past, 2 weeks has blown 3 saves, after being perfect. That was his first home run allowed of the year. And I know his ERA still sits at 1.77, but the impeccable control that we saw has just not been there. And I know relievers, it's a long season. Obviously, the Yankees have gone to him a lot, are going to go through things like this, but you just have to wonder, like, when times get tough, is he able to work through it, work out of it? Are we going to be able to count on him come the postseason time? Because we know this bullpen has been battered, and, guys like Abreu and Schmidt and Loaizaga coming back do help. But, Marinaccio is a rookie. You don't know what he's going to do. So that just did give me a level of concern. And then I was still thinking, though, all right, I mean, we could score 2 runs in the 9th inning, maybe walk it off in extra, it's kind of salvage this game. But if you look at, what happened in the bottom of the 9th, Hicks, of course, flies out, DJ singles. So you felt pretty good. Aaron Judge coming up, 1 swing of the bat could tie the game. Unfortunately, he hits one to right, but just not deep enough. Everyone got excited for a second, but he got under it. Rizzo walked. Okay. So maybe, you could get a Gleyber Torres walk-off home run, lines out the center, hit it right on the screws, but just right at Michael Taylor to end the game. And it was such a tough feeling. And I know you have to have perspective in situations like this because it's like, they took 3 out of 4. I mean, even though the Royals are terrible, it's tough to have a 4-game sweep. Teams are competitive. They want to give you their best game. Even after this loss, the Yankees remain 11.5 games up on the Blue Jays. And then the next closest team is 14.5. But I guess it's just a general thing of what I've seen over the past couple of weeks, and the bullpen faltering just gives me some level of concern, and specifically with Clay Holmes. And I'm just curious your thoughts here. Am I worrying too much about this, or is there legit concern here?
I don't know. I mean, I think it could be, a multitude of things. I mean, I think maybe you are worrying a little bit too much just because, Clay Holmes was pretty perfect all season. And I mean, everyone knew that wasn't going to hold up. I mean, the entire season. I think, a couple of these outings where he's giving up a home run, he's had some tough losses. I think it will do him some good. On the other hand, maybe, Clay Holmes specifically is perhaps burning out a little bit. I mean, is his velocity down? Is it his control? Like what is it?
Control. I mean,
Yeah.
because he was really hitting corners with that sinker, and it's either getting hit or he's missing his spots. We've seen an increase in the walk rate, as well as, the contact made instead of just being grounders, kind of weak, not with good velocity. These are
Right.
actually like people are barreling it up. And obviously, Sal Perez, he's a veteran, of course, so he's always going to be a tough out. And I know he was injured for a while, but it's just like this type of stuff wasn't happening. And I just don't like the fact that, Clay Holmes has never pitched in the postseason. So
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's just a must that they get one bullpen arm, if not two. And I don't know if you feel the same way.
No, I would definitely agree with at least getting a piece for the bullpen, just to have someone to go to. Because when you think about it, like you said, Holmes doesn't have any playoff experience. Mariachino, how do you say his last name? Marinaccio, also really doesn't, right?
No.
So, I mean, if you get, a bullpen arm that's been in the postseason before, even just to be around, Holmes and Marinaccio, I think that would, make them all the more, I guess, harder to hit in the postseason because they're going to know what to look for, what to expect, how to feel. And, obviously, there's no argument that their stuff isn't there. It's just going to be these other kind of secondary and tertiary factors that kind of come into play. But I think they'll kind of turn it around, a few games. I feel like I said, maybe when they get banged up after a few games and kind of, settle down. I mean, I would imagine Clay Holmes was feeling so much pressure of perfection. I mean, all season. I mean, I'm surprised it lasted even this long. So I think he'll turn around the next few outings.
Yeah, you really hope to see that. And, with this series upcoming with Seattle, I think they're catching him at the right time. Julio Rodriguez was just placed on the injured list. I know Ty France left the game yesterday early with an injury. So those are two big cogs in the Seattle offense. So I think, going against a depleted lineup, and listen, you got to get the best hitters out come postseason time, but at least getting any hitter out for an extended period of time, a couple outings in a row, that rebuilds your confidence. And I think that's going to be very important in the turnaround of Clay Holmes. And I do think number one priority here has to be the bullpen. And I mentioned it, Michael mentioned the takeover from yesterday. I mentioned on my video that I would love to see, Rodon, Robertson, and Soto. And I know Soto is a pipe dream, so I'll admit that. But I do think there's no reason why we can't get Rodon. I mean, he dominated the Cubs on Sunday Night Baseball last night. He brings intensity. He's a left-handed pitcher. I know we missed out on Castillo, but I mean, call me crazy. I think he's better than Castillo.
You think so?
What do you think?
I like Castillo better.
Really?
Yeah.
And I think it's just because I think he's had more success than Castillo, and I just see this intensity that I think would really work well here in New York. So I know a lot of teams are clamoring over him. So it's going to be interesting to see if they're able to move on something there. They're also talking about Montas, which obviously, I've said before, I'm not a fan of.
Not a fan.
Between today, tomorrow, is it 3 Eastern, the deadline, I believe?
It sounds about right.
Yeah.
Right?
So that'll be tomorrow, August 2nd. We did see Peralta and Martin get moved over the weekend, but no, big names. There's been talks about Ohtani.
6 p.m.
6 p.m. Okay. So usually it's 3. I think they moved it back. But anyway, I do think we're going to see a flurry of moves and probably some unexpected ones.
Has to be, dude.
Has to be.
Yeah.
And, we'll talk more about this Mariners series in a second. But of course, it is time, Tony, for the New York Mets. And I mentioned it
baby.
In the open, 6-game winning streak, taking care of business against the Marlins.
Yes.
How did they get there starting on Friday?
A team that can commit to the sweep. But before we get to that, oh, come on.
Well, if the Yankees had 3 games, wouldn't it have been a sweep?
Yeah, but if the Mets had 4 games, it would have been a sweep too. So, okay.
We don't know that for sure.
Yeah, we do. It could have been 10 games, Brian. It could have been 10 games. A couple comments. My mother says Ron Darling had a restaurant in Manhattan years ago. Fun fact, actually. One of my mom's friends growing up, her dad was Jerry Casale. I don't know if you know who that is. Pitched for the Red Sox in like the 70s. He actually had a restaurant with Ron Darling and Keith Hernandez in the city way back in the day. But obviously no more. And then she says, nice split screen, which you didn't get to see the split screen, but you got to look back at it. Renee made a nice little overlay thing. It's going to be dope, dude.
I really liked, I did see it myself. I really did like that split screen.
Oh, you saw it?
Yeah, no, it was up before.
You sure? No,
unless it was just you had something.
No, because we've been doing the split screen, but like Renee made a background for the split screen.
But was it like a dark blue? I just saw some background that I really liked. I hadn't seen. It was kind of like, it looked like the Yankees, like in a way. I don't know.
Really?
But we'll have to roll back the tape.
I guess so, dude. But anyway, let's get to the Mets here.
Yeah. Wait, you don't want to talk more about the Yankees? Tony, I mean, you could at least give me a sympathy laugh there.
Oh gosh. So they 3 games against the Marlins in Miami this weekend. And it all started on Friday. Chris Bassett on the mound. And, we know Chris Bassett been on a little bit of a roll here, but falls into some trouble right away in the first inning. He gives up 3 runs. I think he walked a few guys too, obviously having some issues with control. And, putting the Mets down 3-0, you're thinking, oh, man, like this is not good. Something where, these games are games we should be winning. We need to win because we have the Braves coming up. But just like the Mets did against the Yankees, they come back top of the second, they score 3 runs. And I would say that the theme of this weekend was just absolutely, sharing the scoring opportunities, because you saw scoring from pretty much everyone around the lineup, hitting around the lineup as well. And that second inning was a 2 RBI double, an RBI double from Nimmo. And then Marte had a 2 RBI triple. Marte ended up going, I think, 3 for 5 that day, with a home run in the 4th. But Chris Bassett ended up giving up another run in the bottom of the second. Again, he was just giving up lots of hits. I think Wendell grounded into a double play, but the guy from third was able to score. So you're thinking Chris Bassett a little shaky. However, his line ended up holding at 4 earned runs after 2 innings. He ended up going 6 innings, 4 earned runs. I think only 2 Ks with 4 walks. Obviously, those first 2 innings being a struggle for him, but to be able to settle down, and I guess knowing that his kind of team had his back in terms of producing some offense, I would imagine settled him down a little bit, because after that he was pretty lights out. He went the length. Obviously, those first 2 innings, high pitch count. His pitch count ended up being, I think, 103. So it was nice to see him kind of go that distance. And then the bullpen was able to pick him up and kind of just shut down Miami. Ottavino came in for an inning, 2 Ks. Again, I've been saying it, I feel like, for the past 2 weeks. Ottavino on rest is close to lights out right now. And then Trevor Williams, dude, came in the 8th for an inning, got 1 strikeout. I think he threw 11 pitches, 8 of them strikes, a couple flyouts, 1 strikeout. That's exactly what you kind of want from him. Just don't even worry about chasing strikeouts. Just force them to get under the ball, fly out to right field, get a ground out, something like that. And then, of course, Diaz comes in, the fucking trumpets, dude. 1 inning, 3 up, 3 down. You love to see that. 10 pitches he had, 10 strikes.
Can I ask you one question?
10 for 10, Brian.
Obviously, I let's say the past month at least, no closer has pitched more, or better, however you want to say it, than Edwin Diaz. Is there a part of you that at some point the rest of this season that you want to see Diaz go through something to get it out of the way, rather have him go through the rest of this season flawless heading into the postseason?
Flawless in the postseason. And I'll tell you why. Because I think one of the big reasons why Diaz has struggled it was mental, is really what I thought it was. Just because you knew, obviously we were seeing it right now. Stuff is there. His mechanics has always been, pretty solid with getting behind the ball, really yamming in his fastballs. He kind of developed his slider over the past year or 2. Which I think maybe alleviated some of the pressure he would feel from hammering that fastball. And it's a fucking good slider too. So keep it clean, keep it rolling. The confidence he has, I think, right now is the reason why he's doing so well.
Yeah. Obviously you're always going to want your guys to perform at the best of their ability. I guess I would just say, just kind of like what we saw with Clay Holmes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Once that happens one time, does it get in your head? So I guess the point I was making is, he goes through the rest of the season flawless, and let's say, game 1 of a division series, a wild card series, he gives up a home run to tie the game. The Mets end up losing in extra innings, and then it's like, for that rest of that series, every time he's in the game, is he thinking about that happening? You know what I mean? It's like you just don't want that. The first time for that to happen, I feel like you just don't want that to happen in a postseason game.
No, of course not. I would say, though, where he maybe differs than Clay Holmes, that he's been in those spots where he's blown saves before, many times, Brian. So I feel like, he kind of knows what that feeling is. And I think even if it were to happen once, I don't think it would be a snowball effect. I think right now you just keep that confidence high. I mean, he's pretty much untouchable, dude. And I want him to stay that way. I don't want him to kind of, I guess, trip up or anything.
And I guess you could say the same for Ottavino. And I've always thought, like, listen, he has a good arm. He gets up there with the velocity. I kind of like his motion. But I think his off-speed stuff, the movement on those pitches, I think that's his bread and butter.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's the mixing as well. I mean, I feel like he fools batters because of that. They really don't know what to expect. And it makes for some great baseball for the Mets and good numbers for him.
Split screen right now.
Split screen right now. Yes, you're looking at it, Brian?
No, that's what I saw before.
That's what you saw before.
Yeah, I love it. Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure if you were looking. Yeah.
Okay, love it.
Right, pretty dope. Anyway, Brian, move on to Saturday. All right, so
another Mets win.
Another Mets win. Who would have thought, dude? And again, like I said, so on Saturday, who's on the mound? You're thinking Carrasco, and I know what Brian is thinking.
He's gonna get popped.
You know how many innings he went on Saturday?
I don't have it in front of me. I'm gonna take a guess. 7.
7 2/3.
All right, even better.
And honestly, I think he could have went for the 8. I really thought he could have. His pitch count was at 93 at the end of it, but 7 2/3, gave up 4 hits, 2 walks, 7 Ks. 7 Ks for him is a lot. 7 2/3 is also a lot for Carrasco. I mean, he was really dealing. Again, you talked about Ottavino with his off-speed pitches. Carrasco was fooling batters. With his slider, with the split finger. I mean, it's really impressive how he's kind of, again, gone off the fastball. And then even because, like, he knows his fastball is hittable, but because he uses off-speed pitches so many times, he'll sneak a fastball in there every so often. And it works, obviously, a batter will be sitting off-speed pitch or a breaking ball or something like that. And then all of a sudden they're way behind on a fastball. It's great to see. And then, like I said, spreading the wealth in terms of offense. We had Nimmo, we had Marte on Friday. Saturday started in the 3rd. McNeil homered. Lindor had an RBI single in the 3rd, and then in the 8th, Lindor homers, and then JD Davis homers. Something I feel like I haven't said in a while for JD Davis, and even Lindor. Honestly, I feel like he hasn't homered in a while. I mean, that's great to see him. And then, again, bullpen, Lugo goes an inning and a 3rd. Obviously, with Carrasco going 7 2/3, it gives the bullpen opportunity to rest, which is huge, I think. Especially with Carrasco on the mound, because you really don't. I'm expecting 5 innings out of him, but Lugo's in there. He gets the job done. No strikeouts or anything, but forces a lot of ground balls. He did pitch well too. I mean, 14 pitches, 10 of them were strikes, so he wasn't having issues with control or anything. And I feel like for him, it could have went either way for him. Sorry.
No, dude. No. Never mind. Continue.
I will continue.
Seth Lugo, though, nasty. You know about that breaking ball.
Nasty, exactly, dude. And those breaking balls, I think it's no shame of having an outing where you don't have any strikeouts. I mean, in the 3rd, you have to see maybe a strikeout or 2, but get the job done.
Doesn't matter how you get the outs. It matters that you get them.
He got the outs, exactly. And for him, I think it's still huge. And then now you're moving over to Sunday, dude. The early game, 140, I think it was. The Mets start off hot, so hot. They score 3 in the 1st. They score 3 in the 3rd. And again, spreading the wealth here. We had Alonso with an RBI double in the 1st. McNeil with a 2 RBI single. Kana, 2 RBI single. And then in the 3rd inning, Tyler Naquin has his first hit as a Met. And what is it? It's an RBI triple, dude. I think he showed some nice, I guess, foreshadowing of what he could be as a Met in terms of hitting. He looked pretty good. He looked pretty good in right field as well. He seemed pretty quick. He has a pretty quick bat. So, I mean, I think it's a good a good addition, I think, so far. I'd like to see how our other guy, Tyler something, I forget his last name, the bullpen on the lefty.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, it was pretty much, when it rains, it pours here in Miami. After Naquin, it was Kana with an RBI single, then it was Nimmo with a 2 RBI single, and then Nimmo again in the 5th. Now we are with an RBI ground out. And then, Taijuan Walker was pitching for us, and he was pretty much perfect until the 5th. He went 5 2/3, gave up 7 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 Ks. Again, it was that 5th inning. I guess, his pitch count was pretty high. He had 101 pitches, but by the 5th inning, I think he was maybe a little tired as his pitch count was getting higher, and he started giving up those hits, giving up 3 runs in that 5th inning, which was pretty tough. But nonetheless, I mean, still a decent outing from him. And of course, when you have your offense to kind of back you up, I mean, you're really not worried at all. And then Tommy Hunter comes in to relieve Walker. That got me a little worried, honestly, because I don't like Hunter at all, to be honest. But nonetheless, he gets that 1 out to kind of relieve Walker, and he gets the strikeout. And then Seth Nogasek comes in. He got called up again from the minors just because of the the moves the Mets have made. He goes 2 innings, 4 Ks, with only 2 hits. Nice to kind of see him, I suppose, come in hot. However, I feel like we've seen him, over the course of some of his outings where his play just isn't that great. So he needs to have better outings further down the line, string together a couple good outings for me to be convinced like, oh, this guy kind of belongs in the bullpen. Johan Lopez comes in the 9th, gives Diaz a rest. Why not? Got all these runs. He was throwing some gas. I think he was hitting 100 on the gun, which is great to see. Didn't get any strikeouts. He walked a man, so his velocity is good, but his control, I think, is suffering because of that. So he kind of needs to work on, controlling his pitches, keeping within the strike zone. And it was definitely a tough outing. I think he had like a 10 pitch at bat for the final out too. Ended up being a fly out, I think, to Nimmo at center. But nonetheless, I mean, the Mets win it 9-3. They walk off the field feeling really good after this weekend, taking 3 out of 3 in Miami. Like you said, 6-game winning streak. Scherzer's pitching tonight against the Nationals. Then you have DeGrom returning on Tuesday against the Nationals again, obviously. And just, to have this role kind of going into a series against the Nationals where you would expect them to sweep again, honestly, at this point. And then to go into the Braves series, I mean, the ceiling is pretty high right now for the Mets, dude.
And I think it's funny because you mentioned those couple of points, Scherzer and DeGrom tomorrow. But I think the most exciting part of this whole thing has to be the fact that they're facing Patrick Corbin tonight. I mean, he's literally been that bad. 4-14. I'm looking at the game log.
Yeah.
In his last outing against the New York Mets, 4 1/3, 12 hits, 7 runs. And you look at his past 4 starts, 2/3 of an inning against the Dodgers, 7 hits, 6 runs. The start before that, 5 innings against the Diamondbacks, 8 hits, 5 runs. The start before that, the Braves, 5 innings, 9 hits, 6 runs. The start before that, the Braves, 6 innings, 8 hits, 4 runs. And you look at all of these starts here. There's 2 outlier starts. The start against Pittsburgh, the start against Miami, where he pitched pretty well. Other than that, he gives up so many hits, and even in those starts, he gave up a lot of hits. It's unbelievable. And I think going into this game, there's no excuse why this can't be an absolute blowout.
Yeah, no, I could totally agree. I mean, like you said, Patrick Corbin has been absolute balls, all season. And with the way that, all these different hitters were hitting this weekend for the Mets, there really isn't, honestly, there's no excuse why they're not going to sweep. There's no excuse why they're not going to just absolutely beat up Corbin. And obviously, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Soto's getting pulled this game. We're not even playing, honestly.
Yeah. No, I mean, that wouldn't be surprising. And who knows? This could be Corbin's last start. I mean, there's been a lot of talk about packaging him with Soto. I mean, it's kind of a tough thing. I think personally, the Nationals would be better off not packaging because that's going to reduce the package coming back. Why not just pay the money and get a bunch of good prospects? Because that's what Juan Soto is going to fetch. But that's just kind of my thoughts here. A little bit of a lighter schedule today. So let's go 3 picks apiece. And just to update everybody on our standings, let's see. So the first, so we got like 8 days left till this pick segment ends. After Friday's picks, I'm 25-23. You're 30-18. So the floodgates have opened. But let's start with you. I'm sure you're going to talk about what we just talked about, but go ahead.
Literally, dude. I mean, come on, dude.
Is it almost like it doesn't even require you to say anything?
It really doesn't, dude. Just because
Tony's favorite team.
you know who it is, dude.
Give me the Mets.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. I think honestly we're gonna leave it at that.
Yeah.
We are gonna leave
Just
it at that.
down, dude.
And that'll go
Do you
over
even
to me.
have to say, Brian?
Of course, everybody knows, I have the Yankees, and I think the biggest thing here is because, coming off a tough loss like that, you just really, really want to right the ship, bring the morale up. And I mentioned the fact that the Mariners, lost a couple key guys in their game yesterday against Houston. And I just feel like they don't have enough offense as it is. And then you take away guys like Ty France and Julio Rodriguez. Your back's really against the wall. You're throwing out a guy like Marco Gonzalez, who, you look at it, 3.66 ERA. That's not bad. However, I think him going to Yankee Stadium, obviously the friendly confines for the hitters. He's not an overpowering guy. I think this just sets up. I've said it before. It's a Jared Weaver, and we'll even throw in Patrick Corbin smash spot here for the Yankees. And one other thing too, Domingo Germán looked dreadful in his return from injury. His first start, last start was pretty good. Didn't quite get 5 innings out of him, but he had, I believe, 7 strikeouts. So you set him up with a weak hitting lineup, and I think that is a recipe for success. Yankees are going to pick up their 70th win of the season here in a remarkable 41-13 home record if they are able to take care of business tonight. I'm going to say we're going to go 7-1 here. Judge hitting his 43rd home run of the season as he chases Ruth, as he chases Maris, as he chases McGuire, as he chases Sosa, as he chases Bonds, Tony. And we're also going to see DJ LeMahieu continue his torrid pace, 4 for 5, and Matty Carpenter hitting his 16th home run as a Yankee. Yankees win. Yankees win.
All right. My next pick, dude, is going to be the Padres. They're hosting the Rockies. They're in San Diego, obviously. Mike Clevenger on the mound for the Padres. Obviously, a pretty good pitcher here. He's 2-3 in the season, a 3.38 ERA. I feel like couple tough starts at the beginning of the season kind of has kept his ERA pretty high, but as of late, he's been pretty decent. But on the mound for Colorado is who I'm looking at, Antonio Senzatella. I think earlier in July, he pitched against the Padres, did pretty well. I think 6 innings, maybe 1 or 2 earned runs. But after that, it was the Diamondbacks. It was like 3 innings, 5 earned runs. And then I think it was, these not so good. I think he won against the White Sox, pretty decent, but he's had some really bad outings, and I would expect, honestly, this next outing against San Diego, I don't think it's going to go as well as his last one. I think Manny Machado is going to have 2 dingers tonight. I think Mike Clevenger is going to go 7 innings of 1-run ball, and you're going to see the Padres win. It's going to be 4-0, Brian.
4-0 Padres. So let's stay on this West Coast theme here. We do have a ball game in San Francisco, and we mentioned the impressive win last night on Sunday Night Baseball. And I think there's no reason to expect the Giants not to win again. And I know they're a team, in flux. Are they going to rebuild? Are they going to trade Rodon? And not to mention a couple other pieces. Logan Webb on the hill. He's obviously been one of their better pitchers this season, and I just love them in this spot because I just feel like it's easy to assume, they're not completely focused. They're thinking about rebuilding. They're not necessarily trying to win. But Andrew Heaney on the mound for the Dodgers, and that's a guy I know firsthand. Saw all of his struggles with the Yankees last year, and I know he's had success in limited amount of work this season. However, now is not the time. On the road, I don't think he gets through 4 innings. He gives up 7 runs. Logan Webb, 8 scoreless innings. Giants 9-1 over the Dodgers.
I'm surprised at you, dude.
Heaney, come on.
I'm very
Tony.
surprised at you.
Andrew Heaney.
I know.
Tony.
I thought you would take him, honestly.
Absolutely
I would have
not.
taken him, honestly.
Absolutely not.
Anyway, all right. I'll go with the Astros tonight. Why not? Nathan Eovaldi's on the mound for the Red Sox, and I think we've talked about him earlier. I guess last week it was now at this point. And I think he's absolutely trash right now. I don't think he's going to stand a chance against the lineup that the Astros has. I think he's getting beaten up. Maybe 4 innings he can give them. I'm expecting big games, obviously, out of Alvarez. Why not Altuve too? I think Brantley is still on the IL, I think. But even so, without him, I really think it's going to be a breeze here for the Astros. I think it could get ugly for Boston. I mean, we've seen their run differential just absolutely plummet in the last couple of weeks. So give me the Astros here. I'd say 7-3.
Love it. And really, I mean, the Red Sox have been on a historically bad pace. And, they started out this season competitive, and you would have thought, winning those last 2 games of their series against the Yankees the last time they played, that would have given them some momentum. But yesterday, Winikowski getting the win for the Red Sox, they hadn't had a starting pitcher get a win in 25 games.
I know. I saw that. It's absolutely ridiculous.
I think it was almost a record, if not a record. So be interesting to see. Maybe somebody sweeps in, gives them an offer they can't refuse for Devers or Bogarts. Obviously, we'll see what happens. But that leaves me with my last pick here. And there's a couple different directions I was thinking about going. But I guess here I'm just going to go inside with the Chicago White Sox. Keller on the hill, 5-11, 4.18 for Kansas City. I'm a big Kopech guy, and I still feel like we have not seen the best of Michael Kopech this season. And despite the White Sox having a tremendously disappointing year, they're still in this division race. I think them, the Guardians, and the third other team I'm blanking on, but they're all separated by 3 games. So they're in this. I think Kopech is a big reason why. And I could see Tim Anderson having a big night. Kopech giving him 6 scoreless innings. White Sox 5-1 over the Royals to close out the pick segment, Tony.
Nice one, dude.
And as we kind of wrap it up here, just in terms of the trade market, anything that you're expecting to go down today, whether it be Montas, Ohtani, Soto, anything you see happening today, or do you kind of foresee more of a flurry of deals going down tomorrow?
That's a good question. I mean, I feel like it's just been so. I mean, dude, the deadline is obviously tomorrow night, and we've seen almost nothing in terms of the bigger blockbuster deals. So that would, I guess, lead me to believe that it's gonna come down to the wire in terms of who the Nationals or the Angels are kind of picking to kind of send their players and who can kind of give them the best deal. They're really waiting. I would imagine, for players like Ohtani, like Soto, even, Castillo, why not even Montas too, have many different teams kind of in the running in terms of who wants them. And I think it's going to come down to the wire. They're going to see a flurry of players leaving tomorrow afternoon. As Michael kind of chimes in here again, he goes, "Oh yeah, Ohtani going to the New York Yankees, inside sources." Funny, Michael talks about that because Brian was just telling me before the show how he's going to go to the Mets.
Billy Epler connection.
Totally forgot about that.
But I actually do, like I was kind of saying, I did hear that. However, I'm saying that I believe that he's not going to get moved because the Angels just want to make the right move here. And I think they feel rushed with the situation based on his comments that kind of came out of the blue, even though they know he was a little disgruntled with the organization.
Yeah, I mean, naturally could be. I mean, good news for I guess, the Angels that Trout will be able to play again. They mentioned that over the weekend, but I still feel like Ohtani is going to want to leave. And I feel like the Mets have a lot of good prospects that they can use. So.
Yeah. But who knows? Maybe it doesn't get done now, but it gets done, this
next
year.
Yeah.
But I do think, Rodon and Montas for sure will be moved. But we'll keep an eye on all the trades and hopefully, specifically regarding the Yankees and the Mets, that they'll both do something. And the last thing that I wanted to mention before we come to a close here, our guy Tony Finau.
Oh yeah,
winning the Rocket Mortgage Classic. His second straight victory in really impressive fashion.
Decisively.
His last 8 rounds, considering his win last week, all under 70.
Right.
And for this tournament specifically, 64, 66, 65, 67, a dominating 5-shot lead over Patrick Cantley. And this is a guy just a year ago, we had to ask the question, would he ever win a tournament again? And he's quickly becoming one of the better golfers, especially left on the PGA Tour after all these defections to Live Golf.
Right. Yeah. And Michael says Tony Phenom is more like it.
He's
I mean,
hitting
he's
it
not
on the
wrong.
head. And
he says Tony Phenomenal.
I'm making the prediction right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's winning the FedEx Cup Tour Championship last term of the season.
Yeah. He's got the nice week off now too to rest.
Yeah.
Now's the time.
Let's go. So that's going to be interesting. So can't wait to bring that to you. But other than that, Tony, anything else on the way out here, sir?
Stump Barn starts tomorrow.
Okay. I hope you have something good in mind. I am very excited for this.
Michael says he will owe it all to you, Brian.
And I could say the same to him.
No, we got some good questions coming up, dude. I'm sure Michael has a few in the bag as well. It's going to be good.
All right.
It's going to be a test.
Sounds good. But other than that, we really would like to thank everybody for tuning in today and continuing to comment, like, and subscribe, as well as checking out the archives on our YouTube page. Tony in costume, Tony making pizzas. We know that's a big one. Me at a Yankee game, not to mention a few other things, as well as the summer collection, downtimetv.com. But I want everybody to enjoy this wonderful day. Enjoy the games tonight. I think we're going to see 2 New York wins.
Hell yeah.
There's going to be some trades to recap tomorrow.
Let's go.
Absolutely can't wait. And we will see you mañana.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.
Renee, would you expect